Hello, everyone, and
Hello.
welcome to, I guess, third weekend review. Is that it?
I think it is, or it's been a month or two, I don't know. But
Time is an
I'm
illusion.
I'm loving to see the well-mustachioed team here. I salute you.
On your left.
Just wanted to clarify, Team Stash all the way. Love it. Keep it coming. Andrea, so I guess you're on the other side of the Civil War.
Well, I have some very, very light mustache. I didn't know. I haven't get one, but
So you're not anti-mustache?
no, absolutely not.
Okay, he's a sympathizer. You're gonna do the Peter Parker. I have a mustache, and I've had a mustache since I was 16 years old.
Yeah, I see everyone in the comments so far is Team Stash, and they sure know their stashes because I have the best one, and I do.
That is an impressive mustache, Elena.
So before we start, you all who have been watching us these past few weeks might be finding it odd that we have a new face here this week. So this is producer Guilherme Goulart. He will be joining us today. Can you guys explain the situation?
Well, the thing is, I am here in warm, sunny Nuremberg for the toy fair, which means I'm in my hotel room. And since I don't trust hotel room connections, I asked Kyle to be my wingman there in case things go south. So he'll be on my left, right?
Absolutely. And I'm here also to show support for Team Stasho for sure. Yeah. And I'm not alone today. We actually have a special correspondent right here with me.
All right. You're at the office, right?
I'm at the office, yeah. And we have Isa here with me. Want to say hi, Isa?
Let's have her first live stream. There you go. She's real. She exists.
Rare glimpse of a wild Isa in her natural environment.
The whole team reunited for the first time. Yeah.
United we stand.
Producer united.
Chat. Okay, we're already freaking out about the Isa hand.
Isa, show yourself.
He has a hand, indeed.
He has one hand at least, yes.
But for now, Guile, if you could go wait in the wings in case you're called for.
Off to the bench with me
and the show, because we have too much ground to cover in not enough time.
Yes. See you soon, Guile. Maybe. I guess.
I hope
not. Maybe Aranha's internet will behave.
Yeah, it does seem quite stable. I hope it doesn't get worse as people come out of the convention. But let's see what happens.
Bye.
Bye. And so Elena, are you going to sport that glorious mustache the whole way through? Okay.
We'll see how long I can keep it on. It's very uncomfortable. I hope real mustaches are less uncomfortable. But let's see how far I can take this. I can barely laugh. Like when I laugh, it unglues itself. But we do have a lot to cover, so let's get right to it. An exciting week, with new things.
Full of developments.
Every single day.
Okay, so let's go. So the first one, on Monday, we unveiled our whatever number campaign with Secret Invasion. I don't even know how many we've done already.
Yeah,
Andrea,
who knows?
What do you say about
well, we promised you that the Wrecking Crew was not the last team fight against villains, so we have the Skrulls here to fight against you, plus Queen Veranke, and she has secretly replaced 4 heroes with henchmen, with other Skrulls. So I think that's just amazing to play against. Plus, we have 4 very, very cool heroes all belonging.
Can we go to the mini so we can go at them?
They're heroes.
Yeah, so it was nice to bring Shield in force here for the Secret Invasion with the classic Nick Fury Sr. Standing on the shield, Maria Hill, Quake, and Ronin. It was very exciting. I love that Ronin figure climbing the kind of oriental rooftops. And
Oh, true. Oh, that's a cool detail. I had not noticed
Yeah,
before.
yeah, exactly. And yeah, I do hear people saying, "Oh, Maria Hill is kind of similar to Quake," but the fact is, they are
They are.
similar. In the comics, they are very similar. We tried like as much as possible to do kind of different hair lengths and very different poses, and really highlight Quake's like over big gauntlets and with the earthquake base and all that. So it is what it is. We need to represent the characters as they are, and we try to make it a dynamic pose, something that looks good on the table for all of them.
Yeah. Plus, our source material is always the comics,
Right.
so we have to stick to that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then on the box also we have our bad guys.
Our bad guys.
Yeah, and that was a very interesting thing too, because one feedback we got from the previous campaigns is people really love team battles, right? Like having more than one villain on the table, and so that's something that people are saying. Like we're bringing several different kinds of multiple villain battles, and so with the scrolls, because it's an invasion, it's a secret invasion.
Yeah,
it was a nice idea to bring like a whole squad of different scrolls with different scopes, different poses, kind of swarming the whole play area and bringing this unique challenge.
Yes, it's truly a unique team fight against them, and even more unique is fighting their queen, because as I was mentioning, she replaced 4 heroes with scrolls, so you simply take 4 decks of heroes you own, and you will use them to represent those heroes fighting against your heroes. The icons on their deck will have different effects that she triggers, and when you try to damage them, they will either respond or protect themselves according to whatever is in the card they will reveal. I don't want to go any deeper. Let's keep some still some surprise when you will play first time against her, but I promise you it's going to be a very, very unique fight, and you have the option to basically see all heroes in your collection to be used as henchmen for Queen Baranki.
Yeah, and depending on the hero you choose will change how that henchman behaves, how strong they are, how aggressive they are, and all that. So I think that's a very nice implementation of the whole. You never know who is coming and how they react.
I saw a few questions, but now I seem to have. I think you've covered them already, actually.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
shall we keep going?
Yeah. Let's move on to the next expansion on Wednesday.
Next expansion, Annihilation.
Finally, Annihilation was revealed. That was highly requested.
It was highly requested.
That bug guy has some avid fans, which I was glad to see. Bringing the whole cosmic side of Marvel with this expansion, Annihilation.
Yeah. What can you tell us about it, Andrea?
Well, not only there is this big threat who is Annihilus himself, but this expansion introduced the complication cards. And I mean, if you are a player looking for a challenge and you want to make every single villain in Marvel United more challenging, more difficult to beat, more interesting, you can add the challenges. And it's something especially I would recommend if you play with the solo mode or the new solo mode. It's perfect for that. So if you're in for a challenge, this is a box set you should definitely look into. Also, we have 4 really, really cool heroes there with special powers and stuff. I mean,
here they are,
among the strongest we have.
Yeah, but just to wrap up the complications challenge, I really like that. Like it's a sizable deck, and you only ever use like 3 cards a game. So like the combinations and which cards will come up every game. Like it's nice that it keeps people on their toes. So even if they know like what a villain is like, if you add the complications, now you don't know what's going to happen as the game progresses. You don't know what cards are going to come up, what extra things you're going to have to deal with. So I think it's a nice twist, especially for people who may be thinking, with all these equipment and teams and whatnot, isn't the game getting a bit easy? If you feel that way, of course, we have the variable difficulties that you can use. But yeah, adding the complications will certainly give you a run for your money.
Yeah. And I mean, out of the heroes, I think the gameplay of Quasar is pretty unique. He has his quantum bands, and he can release energy from the bands. So the quantum band cards will flip from one side to the other many times during the game. And I think that's a very cool way we use to represent his powers. And all the other three are totally interesting to play, but probably Quasar is the one I'm proudest of.
I see a few questions. Let's just can complications be used in the Infinity campaign?
Yes, if you want to make your life harder, absolutely.
Yeah, I guess complications, it doesn't really have
complication-
many. Not complicated.
They are compatible with everything. I mean, probably the mode they are less working nicely with might be supervillain, just because they will give really an upper age to the supervillain. However, if you are playing as the supervillain and you usually lose, that might be a good way to even the field. So yes, complications are really compatible with everything.
Because the important thing about complication is like whenever they show up at the top of the deck, they are already in play. So it's not something that the villain plays. So it doesn't interfere with the basic supervillain mechanics. It's just whenever you see them, they are in effect. So it doesn't really interfere with any other mechanics. They just make things harder.
Yeah. Okay. I see a question here. Sorry, I'm just trying to get a few as we go on. And it's not about this expansion exactly, but I don't think we covered this before. So this time the playmat does not have the exclusive seal. Does that mean it will go to retail? So that might be an opportunity for you, Thiago Aranha, to talk about exclusives and non-exclusives in general, not just the playmat itself.
It's not exclusive, which means it can go to retail. I hope it does go to retail. But as any longtime Marvel United fan knows, what goes to retail is never a certain thing. It's because it's not under our direct control. It is about the distributors, our partners, and whatnot. But yeah, the idea is as the campaigns went on, like we've seen a lot of demand for the playmat from anybody who misses the playmat and they see the game with the playmat, they go, "I need this playmat." So we thought, okay, how can we do something that will tend to these people who are not part of our Kickstarters and want to see the game organized this way, because it really does bring the game together, while keeping like the exclusive things that the backers bought before, they remain exclusive. So the solution we found, I think we matched everything, was let's make a very different playmat, a smaller playmat, which is even better for retail. So people who had the old one don't feel like they're missing out on anything, but also people who never bought the playmat because they didn't have the space on the table for it can now have a playmat that works for their table. So I hope it hits retail, just like anything that we post that is not exclusive. It can hit retail, but again, it's not a guarantee. Like for example, the team decks, the retail team decks, it's supposed to hit retail, but I don't know. It's a small pack. I don't know how the distributors will receive it, but we want to have that option available for people in the future.
Okay. So, anything else about Annihilation we did not cover?
We might want to talk a little bit about the location, because Annihilation has a couple of very cool locations. One is the Harvester of Sorrow.
Right, that's a harsh one.
And I mean, if you want to make your game harder, just put the Harvester of Sorrow in play. Every 3 turns, once it's loaded, you draw a master plan card and you add it face down to the storyline. The only way to stop that is to solve the threat, which will be on the Harvester of Sorrow, and depending on the threat, that might be more or less complicated, and then you need to spend your end of turn effect removing tokens from the location, so basically forfeiting other more interesting end of turn. It's really making the game harder. A little bit of balancing. Arthros, on the other hand, it's like the home for Anilus, and you can call any villain back there. You need to clean the location from tags, and then you can discard one card to move the villain there. Sometimes towards the end of the game, those sneaky villains tend to run away and escape from you.
Yeah, one big challenging end of the game is having all the movement to catch up to the villain. So yeah, being able to attract the villain to where you want him to be can be very useful. And one thing I do suggest whenever you play with the Harvester of Sorrow, you should have Metallica playing in the background. I agree with that.
Metallica not included in the box.
Yeah, it's not included, but it's optional. Okay, so what do we reveal next, Helena?
Yeah, just before we move on, can Annihilus interact with the negative zone card?
I think not directly.
Not really, no. That's for Blaster. Of course, the invasion of Annihilus, I don't know, the Seekers, they came from the negative zone, but it's just a thematic link. The two villains don't really work together.
Right.
Fair. Okay. So, another big reveal of the week, and this one is
a very big reveal.
very big reveal. Something that's been highly requested, not just this season, but I guess for the past 2 years as well.
Yeah, it's very interesting. So, yeah. Campaign decks, and that's something that was very interesting to see how the community dealt with that. Because we've been seeing people creating their own campaigns for a while now, and it's been very impressive to see what people make with huge maps where you go one game, another game, everything kind of linked together, and adding characters and taking out characters. So when we saw that, we saw there's a real craving for something like this, and what can we bring new to the table in terms of doing a campaign game, right? Because of course the fans have done an amazing job with that kind of campaign. So the challenge for Andrea and his team was, okay, so what can we do?
Yeah, so we focus on individual comic, some of the greatest stories in the comic book. So we try to give you the option to rewrite your own version of those great stories. And we focus on some of them, trying to make you feel like you're really reenacting the whole story. If you're familiar with legacy games, you might find some mechanics that you recognize, but no, we won't ask you to rip any card write on cards. They are totally replayable as many times as you wish.
Yeah, but of course, I think the first playthrough does hold some surprises, and you see the developers in the story and what characters come in, and the consequences for doing some certain things or allowing certain things to happen. It really plays up on those things without adding a lot to the game. It's just little triggers here and there, and adding things, and basically using the whole sandbox that we have created over the years, and that's an important aspect. Of course, we knew from the get-go that for us to do this, for us to recreate all these storylines, thankfully we have already created so many characters and locations and villains and everything that we were able to really bring these stories to life. But it does mean we're picking things from everywhere, and we couldn't limit ourselves to, okay, so let's make sure this works with all the boxes that a person coming in right now has, because it would just limit this thing so much, while we do have this very wide breadth of characters and things to explore. So unfortunately, yes, for you to really enjoy this to the fullest, you should have most of the things we have created so far. But that's not a necessity. We are working on a list and we'll post it soon, really detailing what each campaign, what exact expansions, and what they use from each expansion, so you can decide how much you have, how much you're losing. And in many cases, I don't have X-Force. Sure, but in most of the campaigns, it's just it uses one location here and one hero there. But of course, our ideal version of playing this game is using that specific location and that specific hero. But in most cases, that doesn't mean you have to use those characters. You can substitute for something similar, create your own variant of the story, and it will work fine. It's just this is the ideal version, being as faithful as possible to the comics.
Yeah, for instance, you can see in the card we are showing the roster for the campaign, the starting roster. Of course, that might change during the campaign, but if the roster has 10 heroes and you do not own one or two of them, well, it's not really changing anything in your gameplay. You have a few less options when it comes to choosing heroes, but that's it. Of course, yes, some scenario will have some game, some fight will have, okay, this hero is mandatory for this, but it's not that many.
I see a few questions here. This is very new, so I understand that people want more details. How solo friendly are the campaigns? We read that some use PvP or supervillain modes. Thus can't be played solo.
No, those can't really be played solo.
Well, no, I don't think.
I mean,
it's not about solo mode. Like you can play most of it solo, like playing two-handed, three-handed, or whatever.
Exactly.
It's just like in terms of solo mode, like you shouldn't use solo mode for most of this. Although there are a few very specific cases where solo mode is specifically called for, but you can play most of it doing multi-handed by yourself. There are only a few instances where like a PvP mode makes sense for the story, so we had to include that in.
Yeah, so I would not recommend you to play Avengers versus X-Men solo, but Age of Ultron, for instance, is totally playable solo mode.
Yeah, exactly. So we do have 8 campaigns here, and so even if there's one or two that maybe you don't feel like you can really play them as intended with what you have or your setup or your reality, you still have plenty of games there, and each one of them is 4, 5, even 7 games. So there's a lot of content in this little set.
Yeah. Trying to read through all the questions. How much reading did you do to design the campaigns?
Well, we had to reread all the stories, of course, all of them. It was awesome. Sometimes it was really a jump to the past, and yeah, I mean, there are worse jobs than jobs that force you to read comics.
Yeah,
right.
Not too bad.
Not too bad. A question that comes up, like not this specific one, but variations of it come up regularly. Will there be more than the initial 8 campaigns?
Not in the plans. Of course, the future is wide open. It is a nice mode, but it is, as Andrea will attest, it's not an easy thing to design and test and make sure everything works. So not easily done, but who knows?
We'll see.
But
we
certainly
hear
not
you.
in the plans right now. Andrea apparently hears you. I'm numb.
Will Team Dex work with the campaigns?
Yes. They follow the usual rule. If all the heroes in that specific game belong to a team and you have the team deck for that team, feel free to use it. And you can always use the generic team, the United team. That will work in every game.
Yeah, and thankfully, in many cases, the team that is proposed is a specific team because we're following a story, we're seeing a team do something. So in many cases, that will work out in terms of having a team on the board.
Oh, I love the question. When will Andrea sleep?
Yeah, right. When will Andrea sleep? Soon, as you can see, it's quite dark where he is already.
Yeah, I mean, between my little son, he's almost 3, plus the campaign, it's getting tough, but I'm holding on.
We're keeping you busy.
Yeah.
Okay, and that brings us, of course, to our stretch goals, right?
Yes, we did unlock some stretch goals since we last spoke. What do we have here? Lots of variety there. Sam Wilson, that was a highly requested thing from forever, like Captain America, Sam Wilson. Blast Star, Siren, again, kind of those things that people were requesting that, you missed this one, and we're trying to accommodate. And what's the novel? Big Bear, What's Not to Love?
What's Not to Love?
I know, anything you want to explore there, Andrea?
Yeah.
We already mentioned the negative zone card for
Yeah,
Blaster. He has this
that's
very
very
unique
interesting.
gameplay, trying to seal all the heroes away into the negative zone. So you have to try getting back to our universe from the exile in the negative zone. And that was a fun and unique mechanic to explore. I mean, Captain Sam is an amazing hero, and Ursa Major. I mean, the miniature is so cool. May I say it's incredible. The beer. It's incredible.
Yeah, and I wanted to make sure to include a little broken bottle of vodka there at his feet, because come on, it's a Russian bear. He needs some vodka.
Yeah.
Yeah. And of course, the man of the hour, Red Hulk himself.
Our
Hello,
mustachioed anti-hero. And the thing is,
the effort to keep these on for at least as long as he came up.
And one thing I want to clarify to the anti-mustache league, that mustache is not going anywhere, because I fought for that mustache. Like this was not an easy thing to implement, the mustache. Like there was a lot of back and forth with Marvel. Should he have a mustache? Can he have a mustache? This version, that version. So, like, come on, like, if we can have a mustache, why wouldn't we have a mustache? Like his Thunderbolt Ross, he has his glorious mustache. It makes him more unique. It's not just Hulk painted red, which it does bug me that because he's an anti-hero, he needs to be purple. But please paint him a nice red color with that glorious mustache.
I was even considering making him just a simple villain, but he is actually an anti-hero in the comics, so it made a lot of sense.
Yeah, you guys will have to paint him yourselves. We did not pre-paint him.
You can change the color.
Yeah, and then on the heels of the Civil War reveal last week, we had Wiccan showing up, following Hulkling. It was nice to have these two guys showing up almost together. And yeah, people saw that. I loved what you did with the equipment mechanic, bringing in their wedding rings, and each of them has a wedding ring, and they really benefit each other.
Yeah, I think they were really interesting to design, and I had a great time in designing the way. I mean, they have a very different and complementary playing style, so they really work as a couple and as a team. It's similar but different to what I did with Cloak and Dagger, and I think it came out very well. So I'm proud of that. And
then we had Wongers, which was long time in coming. Yeah,
everybody asking for him.
Everybody loves Wong. Yeah, of course, the comics version is not quite the same as the MCU version, although we tried as much as possible to bring some of the MCU vibe to our interpretation of Wong there. Although there is no medicine card, no matter how you spell it.
No.
That was something that is strictly MCU and not something we can touch.
No, and even his powers, you will notice they are the powers he has in the comic book.
Yeah, he's very much a martial artist with magic on top of it. That's his character. So that's what we're bringing. And then finally we had the long-awaited Hobgoblin.
Yes.
And I love that. So dynamic, so interesting. I really like this. This is the new and improved Goblin for sure.
Yeah. Well, you know how much I love to design the goblins, including this one. So, sorry.
It's okay. And so that brings us to halftime of our
to the present, right?
Yes,
it's time.
So I don't know. Do you? Is it time?
I think so.
I think it's time. What do you think, Aranha?
I think it's time.
It's time.
It's Morbin time.
Yeah, it's Morbin
It's
time.
Morbid time. Time to release all the puns you've been keeping to yourself so far.
Oh my
You've
god!
been waiting for this. Huh?
Yeah, I was talking. I love it when I know this product. I've seen this trailer. I've worked on making this, and I love it when I get so pumped just watching this and seeing all that. So I hope you're half as excited as I am to explore this Maximum Carnage expansion.
Maximum Carnage. So, what's in this box? What's in it? Walk us through it.
Pretty much like a lot of what people have been asking insistently for a long time.
Yeah.
We are putting in this box. This is a very evil box. It's a diabolical box.
Oh my
It's
God.
Maximum Carnage. And again, yeah, we are always like trying to bring these comic storylines to life in these expansions. So this is another epic event in the Marvel Universe. Maximum Carnage. Andrea, take it.
So it's several villains because everybody in the box is either a villain or an anti-villain. Morbius is, of course, anti-villain. And you can face them individually. Well, actually, Demogoblin and Doppelganger, that's a twin fight. So you fight the two of them together. However, you can also fight all the six of them together. And I think we might want to show that.
Yeah, but you
So
mentioned a few of the characters
Okay.
first.
Yeah, let's mention the character first. Sorry, I get excited about the gameplay. So, well, you see the guy with the 6 arms is Doppelganger. It's a very terrible monster. We have our Morbius on a gargoyle. That's pretty amazing. And the long time requested Scorpion. We all love him, and we have
Scream.
Scream. Yeah.
People thought when we introduced Siren, they thought it would be Scream. So here is finally your symbiote Scream.
Yeah.
And amazing sculpts as always. I'm really excited about this lot. And spider villains. What can I say? They are the best villains. So like making this box like chock full of all these goodness was so much fun. And we have Morbius there. He's there. You can rejoice, and he looks awesome.
Yes.
With very unique mechanics, both as a hero and as a villain. So,
okay, can you give a little?
I mean,
Oh, sorry.
as you can imagine, as a hero, he must control his anger. So he sometimes might discard a civilian or a thug. Just to gain strength that he will use to perform other special action, and he must be aware that you cannot do that too much because it could become dangerous. While as a villain, you must really stop him. He's so looking for blood that you really need to stop him, and he can infect you. He can infect the heroes and pass the. How do you say the vampire? The vampiric infection to them. So those are really two pretty unique mechanics. But we haven't finished with the
just to reiterate, like all of these guys, they can be faced individually. Except for can you move on to the next one?
Of course.
So we have the Demogoblin and Doppelganger. They are a dual villain fight because like Doppelganger, he's more like almost like a henchman. He's just like a rabid dog. He's not a proper master villain. So pairing them together, they are basically Carnage and Shriek's children. So they are a unique fight on their own.
Yeah. I see a few questions that I know we're getting to very soon. So guys, stay tuned. We'll get to that story. Keep talking about them.
Right. We're going to explore a bit further. One thing about the look, I see people asking about, like this Carnage is a very different Carnage. So because we did do Carnage before as a stretch goal in phase 1, and the thing is, when we decided, okay, we want to do a Maximum Carnage box to explore the storyline, with all these villains. So of course, a Maximum Carnage box needs to have a Carnage. But I didn't want to just do a kind of just a resculpt of Carnage. So this is Dark Carnage. And don't add me. I know that Maximum Carnage is not the Dark Carnage storyline, but come on, it's a cool new take on a character which you can use in this context. If you have the old mini, you can use the old mini if you want. But I love this look with the symbol and really going all out, like very aggressive, very terrible, because that's what he does in this game. We're going to explore this very soon. So, yeah, Dark Carnage in the Maximum Carnage expansion. Indeed.
Yeah, a lot of people are asking about the color.
Yes, and people may remember what that color means. Although here
somebody does.
Although here it is quite a bit different than what you are used to. So I think let's explore that aspect of this expansion.
Yeah,
of course.
No, yeah.
Well,
we're all no, it's fine. We're all jumbled together. Too much glorious thing. But yeah, the new Sinister Six. Exactly.
Yes. As I was rushing ahead, you can fight against the 6 villains in this expansion, exactly following the same rule set as the old Sinister Six. You fight them all together as 6 villains facing you, and well, it's a different fight. They have different BAMs, they have different ways to find their weak spot, so it feels very similar to something and you might have experienced and enjoyed, but it's also pretty different.
Right. Yeah, they all bring something different to the table. We do have the same basic dynamics of you need to find the weak spot of each of them before you can defeat them, because there are no missions, there are no threats. The villains themselves block the effects of the locations. So it's the same rule set from Sinister Six, but now as a whole new set of villainy with these characters, and we're replicating that storyline when all these villains get together to try and wipe out our good guys.
And then
the big extra twist for this box, which is the whole Maximum Carnage thing, is the Carnage challenge.
Yeah, he's a special challenge. And
Very
as
special.
you can see, for the first time, we are introducing a die in Marvel United.
Very cool
that's
looking
not
die.
a very cool die with Carnage face on a few sides. And I mean, he's going to really pest your game. He's going to make everything so difficult because he's going around infecting thugs, civilians, henchmen. He's going to delay the players so much. At some point, it was really okay. We need to fine tune this so that it's even possible to beat the hardest villains with the Carnage challenge. It is, but it's not an easy task at all. It will require a lot of playing skill. It will require the right heroes. It will require the right combination of skill and luck.
So basically, it is in a very small way similar to the Deadpool challenge, although very different because this is not silly at all. This is very deadly. This ups the difficulty considerably. So yeah, if you're finding anything a bit too easy, you're using all your bonuses and double wilds and whatnot, you add Maximum Carnage to any game, and you're going to have a challenge in your hands because you have to deal with them.
Yeah, there is one interesting twist that I don't know. Can I mention it, Thiago? Yeah.
I don't know.
The fact that he might become the main villain. I already said that.
That's a great twist because he's walking around, he's causing trouble, and of course you can defeat him if you focus on him, and you should try to wipe him out because if you don't wipe him out before you win the game against the villain, what happens?
That he becomes your main villain to face. So you can't face him as the first villain in your game, but he may become the real main villain of the game. So yes, you fight him in any game. You decide to add the incredibly hard to fight Carnage challenge.
I have to say, I was laughing here because I was thinking it's funny people got so excited about the die, like several questions, even questions. So there's a die. This is the first
This is the first.
die.
Yes. It was funny because I remember Andrea coming to me and saying, "Oh, so we have an idea for Maximum Carnage, for the Carnage Challenge, and it would be nice if we could have a die. Like we can make it work with cards and such, but a die would really make this shine and work as intended." And I went like, "Come on, like this is murdering chaos. I think a die makes perfect sense, and because I could visualize a Carnage die that can look really awesome. So okay, let's spring for the die and let's go for it because he deserves it.
It does. Yeah, it's really an awesome die. Yeah.
Yeah.
So no, you don't fight this Carnage as a single villain, but you can add it as a challenge to any villain, and it might become your main villain for that game. So
So basically you can add a very easy villain, you get rid of them quickly, and then you have your fight ahead of you with Carnage, and that's your main villain. And basically you're rolling the die, and that makes him walk around, and when the Carnage symbol shows up, he does even more devious stuff. All those infection tokens being added to all the elements, changing what they do, making everything on the board more deadly. It's exactly what you would expect out of Carnage.
Yes, you can play Carnage with the Carnage challenge. It's like he's just splitting himself.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
People already want a dice tower optional for their single die.
For one die, okay, that's maybe a bit overkill for sure. And okay, is the next slide what I think it is? Because we're so confused about slides. I don't want to mess up.
I don't know what you think it is, so I'm gonna say yes.
Okay, so wait up. So the thing is, people were asking. So this is not an exclusive expansion because we did want, like, the Sinister Six expansion was such a popular thing. Like everybody always say like, oh, this is the best expansion for the game. So basically, with Maximum Carnage, this was our chance to bring that same sort of gameplay to the wide retail public. So this will be a retail expansion. However, of course, we always want to give a special treat for our Kickstarter backers. And in this case, we're doing something very different. We're not including an exclusive character in this pack. We are including an exclusive module, which I think is almost the thing I'm most excited about in a sense, because I don't know, for me is amazingly cool. And I hope you love it. This is the Sinister Six assembled.
So,
I've seen lots of questions like, can you mix both boxes?
And that's the answer. Totally yes. You can assemble your Sinister Six customized team. As you can see, we have even villains from other boxes like Spot, or from Stretch Goal like Chameleon, from previous season. Put everything together.
Yeah, the idea. So you have like these cardboard tiles interlocking, so you can make a very nice dashboard at the middle of your set with every Spider-Man villain, like any villain that would make sense to be part of this Sinister Six assembled set. And they all bring their own BAM and their health, and whenever is needed, the weak spot card with their own challenge to unlock them. So all these villains that used to be just lone villains before, they now can assemble in any way you choose, in any order you choose. And then you have a new deck of Master Plan cards to activate these villains. So as you see, the central dashboard has letters all around. So basically you assign a letter to each of the villains. So the cards will reference, do something with villain E, do something with villain D, villain C and A, do whatever. So that's how you can have any villain doing whatever it is that they do in this united context that really, it's basically infinite kind of combinations and orders.
Yes, we did the math, and again, the number of possible different combination of villains you can face is like 5-digit number, 6-digit number. So you have ton of
and I'm sure you're play testing all of them.
Absolutely not, but the system is so strong that they work, all of them.
I'm really happy that people seem to enjoy this half as much as I do, because this is really awesome. That was something we really struggled to see how far can we push it, how many can we do all. Like, initially it was just okay, so you can mix this, with a stretch goal, Hobgoblin and Chameleon, and maybe the previous stretch goals, and like how much can we add, how far, and we pushed this as far as we possibly could. Of course, this cannot be every villain, because we want this to be like a thing that legitimately works and brings and makes those characters do what they are supposed to be doing in that context. So it's the whatever Sinister Six you choose to make it. And however, I see a lot of people raising a question that has been raised for a long time, which is, of course, so because this uses, of course, you need to have the miniatures, and this even includes, as you see Spot there, you have the Spider-Geddon upcoming villains, Morlun and Spot are there as well. So if you buy that box later on, you can have them in your game. And by the way, I love that Spot now has a weak spot card, which I know the humor of it always makes me giggle. And then so we already made available you have like Rhino and Venom exclusive from the previous campaign, so which people can get if they get the United Promos box in this campaign. But there is.
Sorry, just to get to a question, I'm not sure if we'll have a specific answer for this one. But what would be the hardest Sinister Six combo out of the ones you guys have tested? Because we already established that testing this would take the rest of the life of the universe.
I know. Adding Vulture always makes things quite complicated.
Well, that's really a question for the devs. I don't want to expose myself and say this is the hardest combination. But yes, Vulture is usually a bad one, and out of the new ones, it's very hard to tell which one is worse. So no, I'm not going really to. I don't have an answer. The devs might.
That's okay. I have another one. How many hours to design and test this module? This is a lot.
Wow. Well, the idea was not that difficult, because it really, as Thiago was saying, we wanted to do this because we thought it was so cool if we could make it work. So, I mean, we spent some time, but it was coming together very naturally. And it's like if the design itself already had this type of modularity. So adding more modularity was not such a big trouble. It was more like designing the centerpiece of the hexagon so that it has all the relevant information you need to play without exceeding the limit of space we had. So it was actually one of the funniest part of this season to design and play with this. So yeah.
Okay, and so someone asking.
Campaigns gave me nightmares and PvP, but this not.
So Green Goblin is part of this from the Enter the Spider-Verse box. On the update, we're going to list all the villains and which box they belong to, which brings me to my point that yes, like you do have the option of mixing, of course, the original Sinister Six with those 6 villains. And for those who miss it, we are going to make it available one last time, one more last box that we're bringing back, because we didn't want to have people feeling left out of this mode that we're introducing, because mixing those Sinister Six with the new Sinister Six is like a big part of the fun of the expansion. So if you missed it, grab it now, don't wait.
Yeah, this has been heavily requested since I don't know. I don't even want to say day one. Since
the X-Men expansion campaign, I think.
Yes, and it's back.
Mm-hmm.
So Aranha, I'm going to ask the question everyone is thinking in the comments. You said there would be no reprints.
I didn't say that. I said it wasn't in the plans, and it wasn't in the plans. And the thing that people say, oh, but I'm sure you knew you were going to do this. No, I did not, because honestly, our idea coming in is, X-Men was such a huge campaign, $6 million, so many backers. So I guess like almost everybody who wanted to get all the classic stuff already did during the X-Men campaign. So it wouldn't make sense that there's not a real need to bring all this, because it's going to be a nightmare logistically, and let's not go into that. And then the campaign starts, and all your plans go out the window, as they usually do. So we see like heavy requests for bringing back the old exclusives and things that will not be hidden retail. And we start, talking to each other and seeing, well, what can be done, how far can we do, and we start to see also, because we are doing all these content that relies on past things. And so if we have like a big contingent of people who don't have those things, it really, like, we know it feels bad to not be able to, use the promo teams properly and the campaigns properly, and now the Sinister Six assembled mode properly. And we don't want to have people feeling left out like that if we can find a way to make it happen. So we found a limited way to do it. So we brought back Fantastic Four because, Galactus and everything. And then the two stretch goal boxes because they are featured heavily in the teams and whatnot. And now Sinister Six because it's such a big part of the Sinister Six assembled mode that comes with Maximum Carnage. But that's it, guys. I'm sorry. This is as far and much beyond what I can do. I hope you will understand.
Yeah, this is already costing Aranha probably many sleepless nights.
Yeah, oh no, they will come later, but we'll make it happen.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly never thought this would have been possible, but I campaigned to have at least the Return of the Sinister Six available, because I knew that by designing the new Sinister Six and making everything compatible, it would have been very good for the players to have access to that box. So I'm so happy that at the end we were able to do this, guys. But that's really all.
Yeah. Well, we're almost at the end here. I guess.
Any interesting questions around? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm seeing a few. A few of them are traps.
Oh, I don't want traps. I'm good, thanks. We have enough traps with the Civil War cells. It's fine.
Yeah.
Well, change the background. Put on some of the new stuff. Come on, we don't want to be looking at the past.
True. Okay,
yeah,
let's look at this beautiful.
Yeah, that's glorious.
Yeah. Oh, we have locations in this set as well, right?
Yes.
Oh, yes. There was a question about it that I cannot find now.
No,
yes.
Don't worry. Well, we can just mention that we are going to have here the Statue of Liberty, that will force you to add one civilian to the location at the end of every villain turn. And we are going to explore Hell's Kitchen, the Fisk Tower, and Bishop Publishing, which I believe are really beloved locations that everybody was waiting for. We found a place in this expansion for them. Oh yeah, you can see the Statue of Liberty, I believe.
Yeah, it's right there. All the heroes are at Bishop's Publishing, which you can't really see very well. But they have like those mandatory effects, which make them like very interesting locations on their own, adding some extra challenges.
Return of the Sinister Six is playable with the new solo mode. If solo players are very present here, this is the second or third question we get about solo modes.
Absolutely. Like every villain in the game. Every fight that is a fight against a single villain is playable in the new solo mode. So totally yes.
Okay. Will there be a list of villains compatible with the Sinister Six module?
Yes, we'll list it in the update, and of course you will know because you will have the components for them. So that's the ones you can use.
I'm sorry, I read a comment that made me laugh. The trick questions are. Well, you know what? I think you can answer this one. Can you give us an estimation of how many more heroes/villains will be added before the campaign ends?
It depends on how many people you can bring in and how much funds we can bring in. But we do have a nice amount of villains and heroes waiting in the wings. We are still working on some stuff that might make it
Yeah.
or not. So I don't know. You tell me. If you build it, they will come.
Come on, guys. I spend the morning making new designs. Don't waste my time.
Exactly.
Some people are just looking for a challenge. Is the Sinister Six module compatible with the Galactus Herald mode? I said that right this time, right?
Yes, even though it isn't written correctly, but yeah, but not really, because they are molding themselves.
I mean, in a way, you can use the individual villains that you find in this Sinister Six, in this Maximum Carnage box. You can use them as Herald of Galactus, but you cannot mix the two things. Really.
Yeah, you can't mix the modes. You can use these individual villains as heralds in the herald mode.
Fair enough. And I see we're running out of time here. We only have perhaps a minute or two. So one last question. What sculpt is each of your favorites and hardest one to make?
Okay, let's go back to the sculpts on here. I love that Carnage. I think I was really excited to have a chance to revisit that character and really make this extreme version of him. And I think the challenge was Doppelganger was very challenging. Trying to keep the parts down, because you don't want to have one part in a mold for each of those hands. So trying to find a pose where we could minimize the number of pieces and have him perched on that chimney there without making him fall over, balancing the whole thing. But I love the look of this character, and I'm very happy with how it turned out. Andrea?
Yeah. I mean, in this expansion, I think Carnage is my most beloved sculpt. Is really incredible what you did, guys. It's I mean, we designed him very menacing, but when you look at the miniature, it really scares you. So yeah, it's great.
Yeah, very unique.
No, I have a for goblins, so demo goblin and the thing on fire, the slider. I don't remember.
Yeah, the glider. Yeah,
the glider.
Yeah.
The fire glider. So
as well.
That's really cool.
It's really, really cool.
And he has pumpkins for those who want pumpkins. There you go. There are your pumpkins.
The fire and the pumpkins.
We do that. We want to have some variety between the different goblins we do. So there's your classic pumpkins with the demo goblin. And so we are heading into the last weekend of the campaign. It's not going to be a quiet weekend, I'm afraid. So let's see what happens.
Yeah. And we do still have a final live stream before the end, right? We'll see each other on Monday.
On Monday, pretty soon.
Yeah, I hope so. I will be at my sister's place here in Germany, so I hope the connection is good there. Otherwise, might help to call my wingman back in. By the way, call him in. Come on, say goodbye. Say goodbye. Is he around? Is Guy around to say goodbye?
Oh, he is. Oh, hi.
Hey. Oh, a glimpse of Isa. Oh my God, I saw near. I saw near.
Because we had a cameo. Guys.
I couldn't even see anything. Hello. I've been here the whole time, just as amazed as all of you. And yes, I'll be here, your wingman, on Monday as well.
Very cool.
Okay, awesome.
Well, thank you all for joining. Thank you all watching us for joining us. Thank you all, the three of you, for joining me. And I guess I'll see you all very soon on Monday. Any final words from you guys?
Enjoy the campaign. It's been fun. Thank you all very much for the support. It's been great, honestly.
It's been amazing so far. So really, thank you for your support. Thank you for your kindness. I really appreciate a lot every interaction I get with players. And that's it.
Mm-hmm. And about you, Guilherme?
I'm just very excited to be here. Excited to be part of the show. I'll see you all on Monday, maybe.
Okay. Bye, guys.
See you all soon. Bye.
Bye.